Hello everyone. Let's create our project. Open your terminal. I will create the project on the desktop. For that, let's have a look to the documentation. We can create our project with the npm command. Vue add. After that, we are going to choose our Vue version. If you want, you can choose another one, but I will use the latest. It's asking for the project name, so I will type here Todo app, and you can just pass all of them just by pressing enter. With the npm install command, it will download all the required dependencies, required libraries. And with the npm run dev command, the project, it will start the project. As you see, we create our first Vue project. So see you next section. Now it's time to delete all the unnecessary files in our Vue project. Firstly, open your project in the VS Code. Our project was Todo app. I will delete the public because it's a basic project, so we don't need public. And assets, components also. In here, we will delete those imports because we already delete components and styles. Now let's just print out something. Hello world. Yes, it should be like this, but we need two things. Firstly, font awesome CDN. I will use version 1. I'm sorry, version 5. And I will give you an CSS file because we don't want to waste time on the CSS. That's a Vue tutorial. So we can just pass CSS code and only focus our Vue project. You can find these codes on the YouTube description section. I will share it there. Just copy and paste code to here. After that, import it. but it's not under the assets, it's directly under source folder. As you see, it was imported successfully because something's changed here. And that's all for this step. Let's start the build project. Firstly, we need to a header and h1. As you see, it appears with some style because we already did it. It's just ready to use. Now we can start our main section. In main section, we need two lists. And we need a button to delete this task, but I think it was under a division because we can edit as well in the future. Trash. We add the icon. We will do the same thing as well for the completed tasks, but before that we need a division here. And we will loop those lists to print out all the tasks. I think that's enough for design. Now it's time to add some JavaScript to print out our tasks and view, of course. Firstly, we need to create a variable in the view, const tasks with the ref, and we create an array because we will have multiple items and each or item is an object. Now it gives an error because we probably didn't import it. Yes. Import ref from view. Let's loop our array and see all the items. For that, we will use tasks array, of course, and use v4 directive. item in tasks. We had actually we have 4 items, and that's why it's looped 4 times, but these texts are still static. That's why we will call it like this, and it should be task title, not the tasks. And the problem is we only want to see the pending, which means the active tasks, not the completed one. In Vue, for situations like this, we use computed property. Const pending tasks or active tasks, it doesn't matter. Ref, not ref, completed tasks dot value, and be careful about here. In the scripts section, if you want to access the data, you must use that value property as well. Filter each element if element dot status equals to pending. It gives error because we didn't import computed as well. So error gone. Now we should use this new array in the for loop, and now as you see, we only see our pending tasks, not the completed one. We will do same thing for the completed tasks. And same loop for the completed as well. V4 item in completed tasks and item.title. This should be checked, by the way. Item this is how we use v4 loop in the our Vue project. Let's also have a look to the vif directive. As you see, this text is here, but it should be appear only when the all tasks completed. For that, we can use something like this: vif pending tasks dot length greater than 0. So basically, if the active tasks is exist, then show this. We else if all tasks completed, then this will be appear. Let's check. Completed, and as you see, this text appeared, and the first list gone, and now the text gone and the first list appear. And we can do the same thing for the second unordered list too. Just this should be completed tasks. So if there is no completed task, the second list will be gone as well. Let's delete a task. First, we create a function delete item by id. Then tasks dot value dot filter or find, you can use both of them. Elements, if element id equals to provided id, and choose the first element, change its status to deleted. So we are using the soft delete here. And to call it in our HTML template, we will use @ sign, then the event name, click. After that, just paste the delete item method name and provide item.id. Now if you click on the item, as you see, it deletes, but only for the first one, because we didn't add this event to the second list. It has been deleted as well. By the way, I want to change this pending to active. Okay, now everything is correct, because we still didn't add any feature to this click event. Now I want to add changing status. When I click this checkbox, it should be check this item. So for that, first we need to create a method again, function change task status with id const tasks dot value dot find the elements by element id. If the task exists, then task.status equals to task.status, and we use the ternary operation here, active. Basically, it means if the task.status active, change it to completed. Otherwise, if it's completed, change it to active. And now we only need to call that method. We got an error about test ID, and yes, it was item, not the task. It works, but there's a problem here. To fix this problem, we can use the key attribute. And now it works. We will do the same thing for the completed tasks as well. So I will just copy and paste it here. And now it works. But it should be a line on here. I think it works, right? Again, we should add key to this list as well. And the last step is creating a new task. Function add task tasks.value.push. As you remember, or array items was an object. Tasks.value.length plus 1. And this will be new item, because if we have 4 tasks, or last task ID is 4, so when we add new one, it will be tasks length plus 1. Title, we will get a title from input. Status will be active by default. We need a new variable, const new task title. We will use this variable value in add task. Now we will call that function whenever create, and we need to bind this variable to that input. For that we use we model, and variable name to here. I think it should be works. Yes, now we can add a new item and check it, delete it also. But the problem is, when we create a new task, after we create delete, we should delete these inputs here. For that we will use new task title dot value equals to empty string. Either, and now it works. We can delete items, we can add new items, we can check it as completed. All features completed, and the next step will be refactoring. It's an optional section, so if you can just pass it here. Let's make a small refactorings. First, we only use one component here, but there are lots of things here, so we can create multiple components. Let's first create a Vue component. I think one more component will be enough because it's a small project. And copy this list to here with script setup, but as you remember, the HTML must be between template tag. Now we lost access all those variables and events also. To access it, we will use the pros. It gives error. Let's import and fix this. Import list. And of course, we should take this element as well. Okay, we imported, so let's paste the data to this. Firstly, we need active tasks. We press it like this. To access it from here, we use define props. Active tasks, actually not task. Now we get the active tasks, but also we lost the event access. So delete item and change task status. We need to pass those as well. Now it works as before. By the way, you can this components for here as well, but you have to check some conditions because, as you know, this division only appears for the first list when the active tasks are completed. I think that's enough for this tutorial. It should be a beginner level tutorial. Thank you for watching my video. I know my English isn't perfect, so I might have made some grammatical mistakes. Thank you for your understanding. If you want more Vue tutorials like this, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. See you in the next one.